Section 3 covers questions 5 through 7. It starts off by the introduction that says, the ratio of the lengths of two sides of a right triangle is a trigonometric ratio. The three basic trig ratios are sine, cosine, and tangent, which are abbreviated sin, cos, and tan. Number 5. Use appropriate tools strategically. Use a scientific or graphing calculator to evaluate each of the following to the nearest tenth. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that real quick. You need to first turn on your calculator, go to mode, go down to the third option, and you want your black box to be highlighted around the word degree. If it's not, all you have to do is simply go over and press enter, and it will blacken that area. If you put it on radians, it's going to make your answers wrong. So please make sure you got in degree mode. It says we're going to find the sine of 53, the cosine of 53, and the tangent of 53. Number 6, in each column of the table in item 1, the ratios that you wrote are equal. Express the ratios from the three columns as decimal numbers rounded to the nearest tenth. And again, that's the opposite over hypotenuse, the adjacent over hypotenuse, and the opposite over adjacent. Number 7, which is on the top of the next page, says, compare your answers to items 5 and 6. Then describe each of the ratios below in terms of sine, cosine, and tangent. Assume that the ratios represent the sides of a triangle in relation to acute angle x. Opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse, and opposite over adjacent. For this section, I'm going to give you 8 minutes to work through questions 5 through 7. Go ahead and pause your videos now. All right. As you can see, the answers to questions 5 through 7 have been provided, The sine of 53 is approximately 0.8. The cosine of 53 is approximately 0.6, and the tangent is 1.3. Whenever I went back to the previous page and we created those ratios were 4/5 for opposite over hypotenuse, 3/5 for adjacent over hypotenuse, and 4/3 for opposite over adjacent. When I write those as decimals, that's 0.8, 0.6, 1.3. Here we did the sine. Here we did opposite over hypotenuse, had the same answer. Here we did cosine. Here we did adjacent over hypotenuse, same answer. Here we did tangent and opposite over adjacent, 1.3. So over here, when I wrote these down, opposite over hypotenuse is the same thing as saying sine of whatever angle. Adjacent over hypotenuse is your cosine of that angle. And opposite over adjacent is equal to the tangent of that angle. And I wrote this off to the side. SOHCAHTOA. Sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent, opposite over adjacent. So the A's represent opposite. The A's represent adjacent. And the H's represent your hypotenuse. On to the wrap up of this lesson.